Hey, this is Demon Driver here. Long time no see. I'm sorry I haven't been around, guys. I apologize. Just crazy stuff been going on. I've had some car problems. My main computer that I was using to process these videos failed, and the hard drive went bad. So I've been scrambling trying to get everything working again, and as a result I haven't been able to make a lot of videos, so I apologize for that. But today we're going to work and we're going to talk about something called fiberglassing. How to fiberglass and laminate your RC parts. Like right here, what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to fiberglass any RC part, plain part or anything, and how to take a laminate, a fiberglass laminate, and apply it onto a fiberglass piece, use a fiberglass cloth, and basically give your RC part some added strength, but not at the expense of weight. Like for instance, this is a fuselage of one of my two new scratch-built F-102 Delta Daggers, and this is completely fiberglass. This whole fuselage, with exception to the tail, is fiberglassed. Has fiberglass cloth, and that makes it stronger, makes it a lot more impervious to dings and dents, which is a problem with bare foam. And this mini F-105 right here has the same treatment. And you can do this on any RC surface, to the nose of an airliner, to the tail section, to an entire wing. Here's the wing of an F-105. You can fiberglass the whole wing to give yourself a light yet strong surface that is impervious to dents and dings and damage that, if this was bare and wasn't fiberglass, this would be very susceptible to dents and dings. And of course the fiberglass adds a lot of strength to the structure of the part that you want to add structure to and strength to. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you how to fiberglass any RC part. This is an S40 nose section for my seaplane that I'm building. I'm building two of them. So we're going to get down to business and we're going to fiberglass this part. Alright, I'm going to show you how to fiberglass your RC planes. Alright, here we go. Okay, now let's take a look at the things that we're going to need in order to do this. To apply the epoxy resin, the fiberglass resin, we want inexpensive, cheap brushes. These I get at the dollar store. They're, you know, very inexpensive, cheap throwaway disposable brushes. You don't want to go too wide when you're starting out because it's kind of irritating. You create a lot of waste, and you don't want to over apply resin onto the part. You obviously want a mixing cup. A marker is good to mark off the areas that you want to, you know, when you want to make your outline on your fiberglass piece and on your fiberglass is to where you cut away your excess. Have yourself a nice sharp scissor. That helps. Here is our two-part laminating compound. This is called Amazing Clear Cast. It's really just a kind of a clear plastic resin, but it's nice, lightweight, and it comes out really hard, and that's what you want. Now here is a fiberglassed S40 nose. Already fiberglassed, nice and hard, ready to be painted. I'll put a Minwax over this. I'll sand it down, do some more spackling to smooth it out, and hollow this out more, and then this is going right on the fuselage of the S40. This is the nose section. You got your hydrodynamic boat hull underneath here. This is the top of the nose. Kind of looks like a one of those passenger liner trains from the late 40s and early 50s, but this was early 30s aerodynamic technology right here. Alright. One of the things I'm going to need is some kind of box or something to lift your piece up off your table. So that way your fiberglass doesn't get caught and stuck down on top of your table. You don't want that to happen. So let me get us a little bit set up a little bit better here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to drape the fiberglass over the part and use your hands to sort of contour the fiberglass down over the part. Now, something to pay attention to is your obviously your fiberglass. You have really light fiberglass like this. This is a 3 and 4 ounce fiberglass. It's measured by the yard, how many ounces per yard. Now this is a thicker, about a 20 some odd ounce. So this is, you can tell the thickness by the weave, by the thickness of the weave, the width of the actual fibers. This is the 3 and 4 ounce. It's almost like a tissue paper, like a silk. And this is the heavier 20 some odd ounce, 30 some odd ounce, and it gets even heavier than that. This is a... Now this is more of an open weave. This is very similar to what they used to use on surfboards. You see that weave? Now this kind of fiberglass cloth is good on flat surfaces like a wing. You know, this kind of fiberglass is good on a wing because it doesn't have to go around too many curves. The same thing with this 20 ounce, because it doesn't. It's good on a flat surface, but heavier types of fiberglass suck when you're trying to make curves. So if you want to go around a curve, you want a real lightweight, thin fiberglass cloth like this 3 and 4 ounce. Okay, let's start to get ready here. And like I said, we want to contour with our hands the part the best we can, and as it drops down, we take a marker. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. See, I'm going back and forth to the camera, and yeah, you can see it. Perfect. Okay, take a marker and draw a line. Make sure that you weigh down the fiberglass on top so it doesn't move around too much. And always be wary of not dinging or denting your foam piece, because then you're completely defeating your purpose, because this is being done to create a hardened surface. So just simply draw, kind of get an idea for a barrier or for your margin, your excess line here of what you want to cut away, because we don't want this extra fiberglass cloth to droop. That's going to mess everything up. So we just cut it away with a scissor. The sharper the scissor, the better. Cut that away. Alright. Do the same thing on the other side. We cut it away. We use that marker, and that gives us a nice little line. Okay. Alright, let's re-drape it. There we are. And with our hands, we just smooth it out. And again, that's the advantage of this really thin 3 and 4 ounce fiberglass cloth, is it's so pliable. It's so it just sits down and it doesn't spring back up like this. The thicker stuff, you really have to use heavy-duty resins and everything because it pops back up. It has a tendency, when it goes around a curve, it has a tendency it doesn't want to stay where you put it, especially when you have epoxy on it. It just kind of it wants to do what it wants to do. So, okay, let's get down to business. All right, we got our mixing cup. All right. Okay, we got our mixing cup right here. Clean, No dust, you want it clean. Has to be clean. Alright, we take our laminates over here, 2-part laminates. Alright, we get our little mixing cup. It's important to mix these as evenly as you can, 1 to 1. Alright, we got part A, we just put that into there. Part A, we're going to fill that all the way to the brim, or pretty damn near close. And this stuff can be about 15 bucks, 20 bucks for the two of them. We just pour part 1 into our mixing cup. That's part A. And the other good thing about this resin is make sure that your resin is foam safe. Some resins, for whatever reason, they eat foam. Don't ask me why. Not all of them. Most of them don't, thank God. But the heavy-duty resins they use in the boating industry to repair boat hulls, don't ask me why. A lot of those are very, very toxic. You gotta be real careful. So we want to go very close to a 1-to-1 mixture ratio. Here's the part B. The A and B are almost always going to be different colors. Part A is white, part B is kind of a gold, and part B, excuse me, is a thinner viscosity, and it pours a lot faster than the other stuff. Now, you can mix the two with your brush. You mix the two, you just mix them around, make sure that you do it evenly. Make sure also that you look inside the cup and make sure that there isn't a separate part A or part B poured in by itself, like a streamer, that you don't add into the mix. You got to mix everything together, because that'll cause a problem later on if you don't. Okay, I better hurry up because I don't know how exciting watching me mix this is going to be. I don't want you guys falling asleep on me. Oh, it's boring, Demon Driver, stop it. Alright, so we're just mixing it up, mix it up thoroughly. Now, another good thing about this amazing clear cast is the setup time, the curing time. Some people call it the kicking time. The time for it takes to kick, to harden, to set, is actually probably within 20 minutes you'll start to notice it getting thicker. So you want to apply it as soon as you can to when you mix the two together and you get ready. So let me get this a little bit closer here. All right, and what we do is we just start to apply it. We just take it. What I like to do is go from the center down. For this, I'm just going to attack the center. I'm going to add it into the center of the fiberglass, work my way down the center, and then out. You got to be very mindful of fiberglass, of the cloth traveling and moving on you and shifting on you while you're doing this, because that's just going to make a headache and a nightmare. You don't want that. So we just gently take your hand, take your finger, and hold it, and just gently apply it to the piece, to the fiberglass. You gotta be careful, because you don't want to pull it, because that's what happens. The part starts to get pulled, and you can run into trouble doing that. And you also have to be mindful of not overdoing it with resin. You don't want to put too much resin in, because what will happen is the resin will start to drip, and you'll get dripping. You'll get globs, and then you're going to have to come back in later once this is dried, and you're going to have to sand it. That's more crap that you have to sand, and that's not good. So we'll just gently apply it to the piece. Just gently apply, and you'll see as you're doing this, you'll see the resin build up on the cloth, and you'll be able to determine if you're going to need more resin. You can use the resin that's already here and keep moving it around with the brush to evenly distribute it throughout the piece, so you get an even layer. There we are. Alright, I got to be wary of pulling it. I don't want to pull. I don't want to pull this resin, and I don't want to pull the cloth with the resin, because that's going to make life a lot harder. So I'm starting to move out here from the center. Like I said, I'm starting to kind of head down now. But again, I want to hold one bit of the resin with my hand. I mean, one bit of the cloth and the piece with my hand, so the cloth doesn't move on me. Because that would really, you don't want that to happen. So I'm just... And that's another problem. Out on your edges, where you have, where the cloth is cut, you're going to start to run into little jaggies and little threads, and you get caught up in those threads, and you have a tendency to pull them, and it'll pull your fiberglass. So now I'm going down the side. I'll actually pick this up here, and I'll bring it a little bit closer to you. So what I'm doing is I'm going down the sides, very gently, very slowly. Go back in, get some more resin. You don't want to overdo it, but you don't want to underdo it either. So it's really just a it's just a gentle mix of the two. It's just something where you kind of learn over time. You do this several times, and you start to kind of get a knack for it. Like anything in life, you know, the more you do it, the more you learn. You make your mistakes, you learn from your mistakes, and then you just you find out what to do and what not to do, and when you made your mistake, why it happened, and what you need to do to not prevent that mistake. So I'm going down the side here with the brush, and I'm basically evenly applying the resin to the cloth. Now you want to really keep an eye out for debris. What happens is sometimes a string will break off, and it'll get caught in the brush, and it'll get kicked back up into the resin, and you'll see a little white fuzzy. So you want to use the brush to pick that out. All those white fuzzies and all that crap, anything that messes up the surface is something that you're going to have to clean up later through sanding, and you know, it's just irritating. So with the eye, you want to look at the surface with your eye, and you want to catch any kind of impurity, any kind of, you know, any messy thing that you don't want on there. So now we're going to attack the other side. You get your resin, get it onto your brush, and then just gently come down with the resin, just slowly. Especially when you don't have a hand on the other side to hold the cloth from skidding down the side. You got to be careful, because this cloth is it's not secure. It will move. It'll move on you. See what I'm doing? Nice gentle strokes where you're pushing down, and then you pull. Down and you pull. Down and you pull, because you want to get the epoxy, you want to get the resin into the cloth. You want to get it in there. And the more time that goes by, as the resin starts to set, it becomes less and less liquidy, and you really start to, you know, you lose that ability to get it into the cloth. So you got to get this kind of done within your first 10 minutes. You really have to make some progress, or you're going to be in trouble. For this kind of a thing, you do not want to use fast setting resins, because again, quick setting resins just they don't give you the time. Unless you're really fast with your hands and you're laminating a small piece, you can get away with it. But when you're laminating a big piece like this, fast setting resins are just going to create a nightmare for you. So try and use something that's going to give you at least 10 minutes before it cures. So you got to be relatively fast, but you got to be accurate too. So dripping is okay. You see I have a cardboard plate, a cardboard board here, a little cardboard barrier, and that's kind of giving me a, you know, so I don't mess up my table and get this resin on other stuff. You can clean it off, you just wipe it off with your hand. So what I do is after this section, side, top, and side is now covered. So what I want to do is I want to come across with the brush, and I just want to pick up any excess. You want to look for the drip. The cursed drip is what you don't want. And after about 5 or 6 hours of your fiberglass piece sitting and let the resin set, you will have your finished part. And here is our finished S40 nose. Nice and fiberglassed, tough and strong. Next step, you will sand over this, add some spackle, smooth it out, sand again, spray it down with your Minwax or a sealant, a paint sealant, and then put a primer, then paint it. This will be an aluminized chrome, kind of a dirty chrome aluminum to match the Pan Am Sikorsky S480, the seaplane, and that's what this is the nose section of. So this is Demon Driver. I appreciate your time, I appreciate your views and your subscribership. Thank you, God bless, take care, and I am out of here.